Okay, so I came across this blog. I think it may have been in maybe that Google feed that's on your phone. You swipe to the left or right or whatever, but it gives various articles. And it was talking about ChromeOS Flex. And I remember the ChromeOS from several years back, and you could put it on various laptops that had touch screens and all these various things. But I was curious about this ChromeOS Flex, which was supposed to be a newer one, which was more made for, I guess, older computers. And they were doing this thing where they're giving away, or I don't know, for $3 or something, you could get a USB drive and it had the installer on it. I remember going on and they were out of them. But as I was looking through this article, I got down here and it had certified models list. So I clicked on it and it talks about certified, minor issues, etc., etc. I went down to HP. Well, wait a minute. What's this HP EliteDesk? And G1, G2, G3, G4, blah, 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 all certified. And I go down even farther and I see ProDesk 400, G3 and 600 G1, G0. And I'm like, wow, wait a minute. These are certified. That means they're saying this is going to run on those units without an issue. And so I thought, well, maybe I should grab it and check it out. And so I wanted to walk through how to pull down the image, how to install it, some of the options, how you can get Microsoft 365 to work on it, just to kind of show some of the basics. There's even some advanced stuff you can do on it, but it's a nice operating system if you wanted something that wasn't Windows, wasn't necessarily Linux, but you could perhaps use it with, I don't know, one of your children, a parent, a friend, someone that maybe you don't want them to have too many extra options, but you still want them to be able to do things like Google Docs, read their emails, go on YouTube, maybe even go on to Maps to check out, how to get somewhere. We're going to be doing the installation on a G3. It's got a i5-6500T. I know a little probably beefier than it needs to be, but still it's a processor that's not supported by Windows 11. And I'm only going to put in 8 gig of memory. Technically you can run with 4, but I like having the dual channel stuff. So we're going to do on that, and we're going to just be using a normal SSD drive for the install, like a 256. So let's go here. It says download ChromeOS Flex for free from our website. We'll go into try ChromeOS Flex. Let's see. I'm interested in personal use and get started. So we'll come in here, see prepare for installation. You are going to need at least an 8 gigabyte USB thumb drive. I would recommend making sure it's a USB 3.0 one. Just makes it a lot faster. We'll do create USB installer. Now, instead of doing this recovery utility, etc., let's come down and do ChromeOS Flex installer image. We'll click on that. So this is what it would be called. It's the Revin Recovery Stable Channel, and it's a zip file. We'll save. Okay, looks like it's 1.3, so we have it. Rufus is what I always like to use if I've got an ISO or an image and I need to make the USB, a bootable install. So we'll go to Google, we'll type in Rufus, we'll go to downloads. You just need the top one, that's fine. It's really tiny. Okay, we'll go into our download folder. We'll put our blank empty thumb drive in. We'll double click on Rufus. We'll select our image. It already knows that it's going to go to your thumb drive. I happen to use a 64 gig one. Doesn't matter. Just make sure that the right one is picked. And click Start. It's going to overwrite. And OK. And we'll let this run. It's probably going to take about maybe 10 to 15 minutes. You will find that as it's going along, it will get toward the end, like around 99, 98%, and it'll just seem to sit there. But give it patience and it will. So we'll come back when that's done. All right, that's all done. We'll close this. And what I'm going to do is pop out the thumb drive. And I'm going to stick it in maybe one of the front slots on the G3 and start it up, and should go into the installer. Okay, so this is the startup screen. If it doesn't go into the installer, you may have to hit the escape key as you're booting up. Go into the menu that pops up, hit F9, and then that will get you into the boot menu, and then you can pick the USB drive to boot from. So here you can change the language. I'm going to just leave it as English for now. We'll say get started. Now this is kind of cool. You can either say try it first, and it will allow you to just sort of run ChromeOS Flex from the USB drive. Similar to on Linux, they call it a live CD, where you can kind of play with it. But we'll just go ahead and we'll just do the install. And install ChromeOS Flex. And then just making sure, hey, is it okay to erase your hard drive? Yes, it is. And this tells you it takes about 20 minutes. We'll let it run and come back. Well, at least for me, that only took like maybe 7 minutes. That was pretty fast. And now it's going to shut down. So if you walk away and you come back and your machine's off, that's why. So it's going to shut down in 5 seconds. And it is telling you to make sure to remove the USB before you start up again. So we're going to do that. So I remove the USB, hit the power, and it should boot into, here it is, ChromeOS Flex. And it kind of looks like the same thing over, but don't worry, it is running off of the SSD now. And we'll just say personal use. Next. It's going to check for any updates. Make sure that you are connected to the network. I have mine set just, normal network cable in, hardline. And it looks like it's going to take about 11 minutes to install the latest update. So we'll let that run again. Okay, it rebooted itself after installing the update. All right, let's continue. And we'll accept and continue. It's going to do the syncing. Sure. Now here, you can create a separate password just for use on, they call it your Chromebook, basically on your EliteDesk or, ProDesk. Or you could just use your Google account password. So I'm going to just do the Google account password, one less thing I have got to remember. And you can, we'll skip this, telling you about Gemini. And if you want to change sizing right now, I guess it must, I don't know if it defaults to 110%. Personalize, I like dark theme. I'll go dark theme. And we're all set. And this is kind of what it comes up with. We'll hit close. If you click on the G, this is showing all your various apps that you can run under Chromebook. A lot of the same stuff that you would probably see on your phone. Even like Google Maps, you got your YouTube, Google Drive, Meet. I guess if you had a webcam, you could use that. You can do messaging. You can also install a printer. Let's show how you would add Microsoft 365. Because a lot of folks, maybe they do Google Docs, but maybe they also have a Microsoft account and they want to, edit their stuff on Microsoft 365. So I'll show you how that's done. So we want to go into settings, and then from settings we want to choose system preferences. You may want to first turn on OneDrive because a lot of times OneDrive is needed for 365 to be able to open your files. So we'll go in here and you add your Microsoft account. And just go in, put your credentials. I'm going to go ahead and do mine. If all goes well, you should get this connected. And you say close, and it does say OneDrive will now appear in the Files app. And what that means is that if I come here and go to Files, I have not only my Google Drive, which is connected to my Gmail account, I also have Microsoft OneDrive as something that I can choose from. And I think you can even drag files or copy them. Let's see, if I right click and I say copy, go to my Google Drive, paste, yep, it copies it right over. That's kind of nifty. So now with my OneDrive open, if I double click on a document, it's going to say, oh, do you want to set up Microsoft 365 to open files? Sure. We'll say getting started and then install Microsoft 365. And now it's complete. And there's our document. And if we come over here to the launcher, now we have a new choice here called Microsoft 365. And if you ever need to just open it on its own, you can come here and you've got your various, if I want to do Excel, maybe I want to do a new Excel document. It's going to show you your recent ones. So we'll go into document and make my, changes. And then I can go back if I ever needed to. Let me show you one other sort of advanced feature. There's a way where you can install additional apps by installing them through Linux. Click on Google, go to Settings, About Chrome, and then Linux Development Environment. Click on Setup, say Next, and then recommended 10 gig, that's fine. Say Install. This is actually pretty fast. All right, right away it launched it for us. If we ever need to get back to it, we click on here, and then we can do Terminal, and then it's this penguin. And what I like to do right away, sudo apt update. And what that's doing is it's going to see, are there any apps out there that can be updated or part of the Linux environment? It says there's 12, so then I can say upgrade. Sure. It also does things like it gets file lists, for further installations. And this is relatively quick as far as the upgrade. We'll let that run. Okay, the upgrade's done. Now let's do sudo apt-get VLC. Oop. We'll do apt install VLC. And this is going out and pulling from the various repositories out there and installing it for us. And if there's ever software you don't want, you can just do sudo apt or apt remove and then the name of the program. Okay, so now if we go to our Google thing, our list, we have something called Linux apps. Open that up, and there's VLC. And I think Vim just gets installed by itself. It's just a little editor. But if we do VLC, we can click on that. Say continue. And now we have VLC. We can open files. Now the files are contained within that sort of virtual environment as far as where they sit. But at least you do have that option to install additional apps. If you wanted to get real crazy and you wanted, if you didn't want Google Docs and you didn't want Microsoft 365, but you like LibreOffice, you could do app install LibreOffice. Okay, that finished installing. Let's go here. And there's LibreOffice. Let's see, what is this? This is the Start Center. I see. Okay, so I think if I click here, I can then pick so I can pick the type of app I want. And I believe if I go into Files, and let's grab that test doc. If I say copy, notice there's a thing called Linux files. I think if I go in here, let's paste it. Okay. Now, let's go into open file. Ah, there it is. I can double click. And now I'm looking at the document using LibreOffice. I can do, add some stuff. I'll keep it in the same format. And actually, let's do this. Let's do a file, save as, and we'll call it document 2. Save it. Close out of here. There's our document. Let's copy again. Let's go into documents. Let's paste it. And there's document 2. Now, let's see if we double click on it, what happens. Ah, perfect. So there's our document 2, which has the changes from the Libra. Because if I open up the original, it just says changes. So, oh, good. Okay. So I was wondering, how do I shut down or reboot? So if I click over here on the clock, I can then say, I can pick my thing here. I can say shut down, restart, sign out. So I'm just going to do a shutdown. Let me know what you think. And if this would be something that would be useful for, someone in your family, yourself,